And
yeah, take it away.
well, we now want to take you to Kwale County for that interview with the Principal Secretary in charge of irrigation, our very own Abdiaziz Hashim, as he had told us earlier, was going to give us that particular conversation. And here it is. Abdiaziz, over to you.
Well, of course, we are back here to the scenic views here at the Jacaranda Hotel. It is this lush green at the middle of the Jacaranda jungle. We are coming to you live from Kwale County, close to the even coastal strip of the devolved unit itself. And of course, this evening, we're focusing not only on the country's agricultural irrigations projects that are being focused around the country, but in terms of financing and resources, also PPPs, how crucial are they to ensure that these irrigation schemes are realized at the end of the day? Once more, joining us this evening is none other than the Principal Secretary, State Department for Irrigation, CPA Ephatus Kimotho. PS, thank you for joining us once more.
Thank you for having us here.
Okay, PS, we start on that note. Tell us about how many irrigation schemes we do have in the coastal region in totality, roughly.
Okay, in the coastal region, we have around 12 irrigation schemes, community irrigation schemes. That's starting from Bura in Tana River County. We also have a Hola, still in Tana River County. We have what we had come to inspect here today in Kwale, the Wagamachame irrigation scheme, and we have several others in Kilifi and Taita Taveta County. Yeah.
And approximately, given that you have just told us how many projects there are here in the coastal region, in terms of financial capacity, how much has the national government at least ensured that it has been injected to these schemes across the coastal region?
On average, I would say in terms of investment by the national government in this coastal region, it is estimated to be over 30 billion. Because I say that because we have the Mwache project,
yes,
which is currently ongoing. Mwache by itself is a 13 billion project. It's going to have a storage capacity of 136 million cubic. And then it also has a lower check dam for controlling silt, which is 8 billion cubic, and that will mainly be used for irrigation using solar. So then again, we have the Bura irrigation scheme, which is approximately 7 billion. It's a big irrigation scheme. Now, before it was using it was diesel pumped.
Yeah.
Then later it was electricity. Pumps were being pumped by using electricity, but now it's a gravity system. So we had to invest more and also expand the scheme. Before, it was a scheme that was only having a crop cover of 12,000. And that 12,000 was still not, the water was still not sufficient because of the cost of pumping diesel. So we were only cropping around 6,000. But now, with the gravity irrigation scheme that we've put on board, we should be able to do 40,000 acres. And still, there's an opportunity of doing more when we get another intake to cover almost the tune of 100,000 acres. Yeah.
And in terms of beneficiaries, because we witnessed today in Wagamachame irrigation scheme where 6,000 farmers as well as 800 households are said to benefit from such kind of scheme. So in terms of beneficiaries in the larger coastal region, how many people are we looking at?
Actually today, like where we are, it will, the 6,000 is more of the job that we'll create.
Yes.
In terms of farmers who will benefit is around 1,200. But generally, in terms of the whole coastal region, we are talking of nothing less than 30,000 farmers who will be immediate beneficiaries. In terms of job creation, as I said, 1 acre on average gives you 5 jobs. So you're talking over 150,000 jobs. That is from the community irrigation schemes that we are doing. But also in this coastal region, also we are doing also commercialization, which again that will enhance even much more. Like in Bura, we approximately 94,000 acres. We want to put it under commercialization, whereby we'll be giving private sector who will be under PPP, under the PPP program. Then also in Galana, we have 200,000 acres, which we're also putting under production through also a private party. So by so doing, that means now even in terms of the impact for that, those farms under commercialization, they're also doing a lot of mechanization. So in terms of jobs created, maybe a ratio of 1 to 2. So we're also talking about an average estimated from the two I've mentioned, at an average of 300,000 acres. We're talking about another approximately 600,000 jobs.
And of course, when it comes to that, you've just talked about the PPPs. How crucial is that, and what are some of the misconceptions when it comes to PPPs coming into aiding various key mega projects spearheaded by the national administration?
PPP, as I said, the private-public partnership, it comes to actually help the government do what they could not have done, probably because of the minimal resources. So actually, it's because PPP actually comes to actually do what we ought to have done. So it's actually, they only do what is within our plan. Like, for example, right now, as the State Department of Irrigation, we have a plan to put 1 million acres under irrigation, so that we can be able to address the issue of food security in the country. We can also be able to reduce the food imports in the country. We can also be able to increase our food exports, so that we can also be able to strengthen our dollar and also strengthen our economy. By so doing, because of the limited resources we have, for example, in the State Department, in the country at large, you find like in the State Department currently we have a budget of around 20 billion per year. But in terms of for us to be able to to put the 1 million acres under irrigation and also have enough storage, because for you to do that, you also need to have enough storage. That is in terms of dams. You need to harvest and store enough water through dams. Again, for us to do the 1 million acres, approximately you also need slightly over 1 billion cubic liters of water. So there we are talking about nothing less than 1.5 trillion in terms of investment. So if you compare that with the current budget you have, you realize we may not be able to achieve that objective. And so the easiest way is actually to get a private party who comes to do that. So they are very positive if you look at it from such perspective. Like now in Galana, we are putting 200,000 acres under production. That 200,000 acres by itself, from the projection, will generate over time, the 30 years will be generate over 12 trillion. So over that period of time, over that years. So because it's a list of around that years. So if you look at it from that perspective, in terms of the income that will be generated, the taxes that will be generated from that, people who will be employed and they're paying taxes, so it's going to have a very huge economic impact. Then on the other hand, also for us to be able to do that production, we also have to do the dam. The dam again, we're getting a private party who is willing to do that dam. But for him to do the dam again, he needs an offtake guarantee. We may not be in a position to give the offtake guarantee as government, because again, that's like a contingent liability. But now with another private party doing the production, he's able to give the offtake guarantee. So by so doing, it's a win-win situation for us. And at the end of the day, we'll create jobs for our people. We'll address the issue of food security. We'll reduce the food imports, which actually is quite huge. Currently, we are importing over 500 billion worth of food every year. So that means even if we were to invest 1.5 trillion in irrigation infrastructure and the water storage, that means in a matter of 3 years, that's money that can be recouped in one way or another.
And if you're just joining us, this is the Principal Secretary, State Department for Irrigation, CPA Ephatus Kimotho, just bringing us up to speed with the various irrigation schemes across the coastal region and the country at large. It is exactly 40 minutes past the hour. We need to take a short commercial break, but don't go too far. We still continue with our interview in terms of irrigation schemes across the country. So do not go too far.